Gee, I hope I don't get sued for this. There was a comedian that warned me. He warned me, don't don't say that you are going to have a comedy hour and only talk 5 minutes. He he told me that he did that and got sued by everybody watching because they timed it. He was going to do a 1 hour comedy deal, and it lasted more than 5 minutes, but not much longer. No, he told me to get a good microphone, so I bought a good microphone. He said, no one's going to listen to you if you don't have a good microphone. So I went to the store today, and I'll show you the microphone here. It can go to the floor. It's supposed to go to the floor, and it's got a foot pedal on it, so I could start it and end it when I wanted to. It actually even has a cord on it. This is a several $100 microphone, by the way. Put up by Heil, Heil, and here's the connectors. This is what makes it work. So thank goodness I got all the pieces together so you can hear me. And I'm not sure I have this microphone on. It says narrow and wide. Maybe you can help me out here. Can you see narrow and wide? Is that what that means? Narrow and wide. Oh, here's a button I press to talk. Okay, do you hear me better now? Can you hear me now? Okay, now here's the great thing. I'm so excited. This is the first time I've had a microphone since I've been doing these YouTubes. Wait a minute, this has to switch on it. I don't know whether to switch it on wide or narrow. What's this thing? Like I said, this is sophisticated. This is a expensive dude. I asked them if they could teach me how to use it, and the guy that teaches it was on lunch break and was at a place near Hamilton, Ohio. I couldn't stay there all day and wait for him. If you ever heard of ham radio, it was a ham radio outlet. And I said, well, heck, I can figure this thing out. I said, how much could there be to learn? It's just the thing. It's just the thing. Oh, I better hold it up so you can hear me. Can you hear me better now? Or this way? Or can you hear me better if I put it on wide? Or can you hear me better if I put it on narrow? Or if I twist this? Does this help? Oh my gosh, it's coming about. It's coming apart. I haven't even told you a story yet. Let me tell you about the story where I almost killed myself. Don't pay attention to this. This is in my lap. This is part of this. I just waited till the last minute. What in the world's this? I guess I'm supposed to put this in here. Okay, we're live. We're live. This is Jim Wortham's Comedy Hour. Okay, so let's go back. They told me at the radio shop that I could hold it in my hand, which is what I'm doing. Let's talk about when I almost killed myself. That's a good topic, isn't it? We sometimes have low days. We sometimes have those kind of days that we might not feel so happy. But this isn't quite what you're thinking. Hope you're hearing me okay. Should I get it closer? Okay. Let's just hold it here and see what happens. Heck, there's enough here I could put it on my head. So anyhow, I was flying an airplane. No, there was no intent here to hurt myself or even kill myself. It was a Cessna 150. You ever heard of a Cessna 150? That's a two-seater. And so I'm sitting there in a two-seater. Of course, I'm only using the pilot's seat. He thought I needed more lessons, the teacher did. And I think he was right. Before I took out on my own and flew without the instructor there. So he told me what to do though on the first day. The first day he was sitting on the second seat right next to me, and he took the keys out. And he tossed them in the back seat. He said, "You think you can find the keys?" This is the first session, the first teaching session. He says, "How long is it going to take you to find the keys? Because we're not going anywhere if you don't get those keys back into the engine. No pressure. No pressure there." He might as well have thrown them out of the window, as far as I felt. I said, "Well, I didn't really like college anyhow. Seriously, I made my first F in college. Kentucky Southern College. It was in French. I think I made a D minus in my minor in one of the classes, not minor, major. I majored in psychology. I saw all this going down the tube. I had made D minus in statistics of psychology. Is this doing any good? Can you imagine statistics of psychology? What in the world is statistics? And what's it got to do with me helping people? Can you hear me better now? Can you hear me better now? So, anyhow, I had withdrawn from the university. Well, it wasn't a university, then it was a college. It was Kentucky Southern College, and actually it closed because lack of funding. On this particular day of flying, I almost closed with it. This is taking a different route, but I think you're going to enjoy the story. I had higher than F's and D minuses. I had a few C's. So Vietnam War was going on then, and I thought, well, anything's better than this college. I thought, this ain't my thing. So I go ahead and I go to the Army Reserves Recruiting Center and fill out the paperwork, and my God, I passed the test and everything. All I had to do next was take the physical, and I was going to be shipped straight to Vietnam War. This is when the Vietnam War was going. My God, it had to be better. My gosh, I didn't aim to say my God. My gosh, it has to be better than being at this college campus. Well, I got down to the day before taking the physical, and I noticed that there was another college that wasn't too far away called Western Kentucky University, and it started a month late on the second semester, and I still had time to give them a call and see if they would take me in. Now, you're thinking what I'm thinking. Why would I even call them? So I called them. Can I set up a session with a registrar for a possible transfer from another college? Sure. Come in tomorrow. So I canceled the physical with the military, and I went ahead and drove up to Western Kentucky University, and he looks at my transcript. You know what I was waiting for. I was waiting for him to say, "Is this your transcript?" Yep. Were you thinking about even transferring here? Well, I thought about it. He said, we won't be able to take the F in French or the D minus in statistics of psychology. And I stared at him. And then he said, but we can take this, 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 and this. And for about 10 minutes, I didn't say a word. He looked at me, he said, you need something to drink? I said, yeah. You got something really, really, really strong? He says, I'll get you a Coke. He transferred everything in. Did not finish the story about landing the plane. We'll get back to that later. You can tell why I made that F&D minus, can't you? So, here's what we do. We transfer everything in, and just to speed things up, I got through with B's and C's the first semester, and then the next semester I get a phone call from my parents who were paying. They had permission to receive information about me. Second semester I'm there, I get a phone call. I'm in another state. I was working in another state, trying to make money to pay for college, and my mother says, why didn't you tell me? I thought, oh my God, I've been kicked out. I've been kicked out. She said, we got a letter from the president's office, and he signed the letter. And you made all A's. You made all A's. And we don't know why you didn't tell us that. Well, I can tell you why I didn't tell you that. Because I was expecting all D's and F's. Going back now to the plane. Here's a plane going down because I don't have the keys in it. I don't know where he threw the keys in the back seat. Wait, I'm not sure if there's a back seat there. I think the Fresno 171 had the four seats. The 150 that I was flying had 2 seats. So I guess I had to scrape around on the floor and find those keys. I found them. I put those keys back in. And he says, now you know what the lesson here is? It's to look for a place, if the engine goes out, look for a place to land. I say, and where might that be? He says, well, look. He says, you see that farmland over there? Yeah. Do you see where there's no plants over in a particular part of it? That it's just grass? Yeah. He said, I want you to point the plane over there and act like you're going to land it. What can I do? put the key in, turn it back on, and then pull it back up again so it doesn't hit the ground. Pull it up and forget landing. He said this was just a lesson that if your engine ever goes out, this is how long you can glide. I thought, wow. We can glide for 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes with the engine off. Okay. I said I almost killed myself. Let's finish that story up. On the way back, there was a air current, a current. We were coming in just like we were supposed to. We were going to land at this was at Bowman Field. Bowman Field is a small airport very close to Stanford Field in Louisville. So I'm coming down, trying to come down, about halfway down, and all of a sudden we couldn't move. I'm talking about the plane wasn't moving and the engine was on. We were dropping. And I couldn't do anything about it. I rammed it as fast as I could, gas-wise. I moved the wheel was round, if I remember right. I tried to pull it up, ram the gas. It wouldn't move. It was falling. You ever been in an elevator? We were in an elevator. And there wasn't a thing we could do about it. And a few feet before we were going to hit the ultimate death, because we were going fast. A few feet before we would have died, we hit an air current. And that air current, once we grabbed that air current, once I felt that, and I was the one that was flying. Once I felt that air current, we went back on up. And the rest was like a regular lesson in flying. That's the end of the airplane story for now. I don't know what you were expecting, but that's what happened. So after my parents get that letter from Western Kentucky University's president office with his signed signatures saying I had made 4.0 average, which is all A's, I didn't quite keep it there. I didn't believe in keeping all A's because I didn't have the same classes. There were ups and downs and all arounds. And on the last year there, I didn't know if I was going to graduate or not. and I did. I'm going to speed this up for better or for worse, and I'm not bragging and I'm not trying to downgrade myself. I'm just telling it the way it was. I graduate and can't get a job. I go to University of Kentucky to get a master's or a doctorate in psychology. That was my major. And here's what happened. I meet with an appointment with the head of the psychology department for a master's program or doctoral program, and I had the transcript and I gave it to him, and he looked at it and he said, "Were you thinking about applying here? Were you going to apply here?" "Yes, sir." Might as well put the mic down. We don't let students with their grades in our university. Not only do we not let people in our university with your grades, but no university in the United States is going to accept you. And I believed it for 10 years. Approximately 10 years. I did every job you can think of that you could hate. Every job you could hate. Then I called another university. They said, "Come on in." They looked at my grades. They said, "We'll take you on probation." And the rest was history. Most of the time I was scared to death. You make 2 C's and you're kicked out. I had made 1 C. Each class was around $800. Then you had books to buy. I had to go there 3 years to get a master's in psychology. I made it. What I didn't tell you, though, is that we had qualifying exams which tested us on everything we learned during those 4 years. Everything. I missed one. One of the questions. Missed it. Couldn't retake it for 1 year. Yeah, could not retake the qualifying exam for 1 year. The meantime, what do? You cancel your robe for graduation. You cancel job opportunities that had accepted you. Not just me. I wasn't the only one. There were a lot of us that missed passing. So I did everything and I could. Substitute taught. Did a lot of things. Don't even want to name them. Hate it so much. And I took it a year later and passed it. Then I took the State Board of Psychology exam. And you may not have picked this up, but I'm kind of low-key and an introvert. Even using this, I'm still an introvert. So what I did then was retake it 3 times. You had 3 parts to the exam. You had a written exam, I don't know if it's 400 questions, multiple choice, four choices. Passed that. That was called the National Board exam. You'd think that'd be enough. The second exam, I failed by 1 point. That was essay. Well, took it again in 6 months. Got past the essay exam, but then the oral exam was the third one. Failed it. Took me 2 years before I had confidence to take that exam because I knew they were going to fail me. And 3 times you were going to be out. You weren't going to be able to apply again to be a psychologist. On the third one, just because enough people pushed me to take it, I went ahead and tried. I knew they were going to fail me. I just knew it. But I passed it. I passed it, and the rest is history in that I started my own counseling center. I had probably the largest independent counseling center. I know I did. The largest independent counseling center here in my city. And I was surprised at how much bad advice can be given to people, because the last professor I had at Spalding University when I graduated said, don't come back here to get a doctorate degree until you work for a few years. We're not going to accept you. Now you got to understand, my grades weren't that great on the master's. I had made 1C. 2 would have kicked me out. He was looking at the second one. This was the same professor. He was thinking, he came close to getting 2. I didn't come close to getting 2. Only got 1. 1C. But he was determined I wasn't coming back. He said, I want you to practice a few years, get a little experience, then you can apply for the doctorate. Well, I went to Madison, became a director of a community mental health facility. Why? Because the last 3 that they had hired didn't work out. Let's just put it that way. So they finally got to me. I stayed there 3 years, resigned, and said, I'm only going to work for myself from now on. And I did. It took me a year just to get on the insurance networks because I didn't know what I was doing. Didn't know. I wouldn't charge people money because they're about as poor as I am. So I got on all the insurance networks and something called Employee Assistance Program networks. And for the next 30 or so years, ran my own business. Now that doesn't sound like a comedy ending. The joke's on them, not on me. But I could help those that didn't know they could be helped. 80% of the people I saw had alcohol, drug, and meth, crack, and cocaine problems. Still, I get phone calls. Today I got a phone call. When can I see you next time, this week or next week? I still get phone calls. I don't have an office, so sometimes we meet at different places. And the telephone counseling, a certain amount of that I do. But I classify myself as being retired. Now, we're at about 36 minutes, and this just did not turn out like a comedy hour. I had a few jokes down here. You see this? I had jokes. This was going to be a comedy hour. I was going to tell you about the lady I was dating. Beautiful lady. I was going to ask her out. And we're laughing and joking, and then I hear not my commode, but her commode flush once. I thought, I'm not sure I heard that right. And about a minute later, it flushed a second time. And we talk a little bit more, and it flushes a third time. I thought maybe I'll let this go and call somebody else for a date. I couldn't let it go. I couldn't let the thoughts in my mind of what was happening. I couldn't let it go. And it's just that way. It's just that way. Could tell you more like that, but that one will stick with you. Now, if you like the comedy hour, which was less than, well, it was 38 minutes. Don't sue me for not going an hour. If you like this comedy hour, let me know and give me plenty of time to respond. And I don't really ask this, but I hear everybody else saying, hit the like sign and hit subscribe. So now you got to understand one thing here that's very important. This is not normal for me. The other ones are, I want to say, serious. Even though I've been as serious as I can be talking about this, it's all true. But it's sort of comical, I think. She had a cordless phone in the bathroom, by the way. It was a cordless phone. And then I heard the first flush, the second flush, and the third flush. You've heard it said in baseball 3 times, 3 strikes and you're out. How cruel can I be? So you can always hit the subscribe button too. It's been fun playing around like this. Oh, I'm not sure if you've heard anything. If you haven't, let me know. I forgot to hold this. If you didn't hear anything, let me know, and what we'll do is I'll try to do better next time. Have a blessed weekend. It's almost Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. See you then.